Welcome. I'm Gordon Lee. Today, I would like to talk about the pentatonic scale. I think the pentatonic scale is a very, very important aspect of music to focus on, especially for songwriters, composers, improvisers. What's so important about the pentatonic scale is that it's very ancient and it's very universal. There's literally music from every culture that uses the pentatonic scale, whether that's from Europe, say from Scotland, Ireland, or from North Africa, or from North America, or from China, or from even in Japan and Southeast Asia, where it's a different five-note scale, but a five-note scale is a basic building block of music. So in France, there are some caves, ancient caves that are 35,000 years old, and in those caves, anthropologists found bone flutes that had been carved, where holes had been carved into the bone, and the notes that they played were the pentatonic scale. These would be the five notes. That five-note sound is something that, yes, it's just used everywhere, used in every single culture. What I'm going to do, just because this is the keyboard, one of the wonderful things about a keyboard is that it is visual. So I'm going to play that up, what we call up half step. I'm going to play it now on the black keys. So that's very easy to see what those five notes are. In fact, that's one of the most famous Motown songs ever written. So that's the beginning of My Girl by the Temptations. So we find the pentatonic scale occurring over and over again in all these different styles of music. For sure, Motown music, rhythm and blues, blues, country music, American Indian folk music. A great song by Jim Pepper, an American Indian songwriter and saxophone player. It was called Lakota Song. So now when I say using the five notes, I'm talking exactly what my right hand is playing. My left hand is playing some other notes that are outside the pentatonic scale, because the left hand, generally speaking, for almost, I'm going to say 90% of all piano keyboard music, the left hand is accompanying the melody that's occurring in the right hand. So so the left hand, in other words, is involved in playing chords and harmonies, support for the main melody. But what I'm going to play for you on the keyboard today, the right hand is exclusively playing the pentatonic scale. But I'm going to play it in a few different kind of contexts. But let's look at these five black keys here first. I'm going to call each of these keys, I'm going to call them by their flat names. You may be familiar with the fact that the black keys sometimes have flat names, sometimes have sharp names. I'm going to call them by the flat names just because I feel like it. And so we have a G flat, A flat, B flat, D flat, E flat. It's just amazing all the music that can be made with just those five notes. An excellent exercise for any musician who wants to develop their musicality would be to be able to play those five notes starting on any key, on any named note. So if I go down a half step and start on F, again, that's such a common scale. Here's a classic song using the pentatonic scale. using that five-note idea that now you have people, even before there was formally blues or jazz, you had songs that by American black people that used the pentatonic scale. Here's one of the simplest ones. There's a Willie Dixon song called Spoonful. So, very, very simple melody, but it uses that same pentatonic scale. What I want to get into after I've given you another couple of examples is to show you how if we add add one note to the pentatonic scale, you now have some of the most famous melodies. You've increased the number of songs that use the pentatonic scale as its basic building block. I want to say as an exercise, this idea of playing the five notes and being able to play them starting on any key that's actually quite a challenge, but you can use your ear to follow that and to create that sound. Now, maybe you had noticed that when I played that song "Spoonful," that it was not in the major sound. It had a sort of a darker sound that we call minor. So we call that quality of sound. We call it the quality of sound. We call it minor. So, in other words, there's a major pentatonic scale, but I can use the same notes, but if I start on a different note, if I start on D, I just played F, G, A, C, D, but if I start on D and I play D, F, G, A, C, we call that a minor pentatonic scale. So we have major pentatonic scales and we have minor pentatonic scales. They're really the same, exactly the same notes, but we want to decide, do we want that major sound or do we want the minor sound? So in other words, you kind of get two. Every time you know a major pentatonic scale, you also know the minor pentatonic scale, what we would call a third below the root note. And I'm going to play a classic jazz song by Milt Jackson that he recorded with John Coltrane called Bag's Groove. So that is the pentatonic scale, the basic building block of music.